Hello, hello, hello. This is Tamika, Seaton, President and CEO of Grow Your Nonprofit, where we help startups, small and stagnant nonprofits grow through fundraising strategies, strategic planning, and so much more. Before we get started, I like to thank the sponsors of my podcast. Hodges University with a campus in Fort Myers. Stay near, go far. They change life for the better. Trinity Life Foundation Naples, where they help at-risk youth in Collier County with their enrichment programs. AVID, it stands for the Associations of Haitians Living Abroad. They have an amazing community resource center they just opened right here in the beautiful Fort Myers. Last but not least, we have Vax Truth, spreading the word in the Black and Brown communities about COVID-19 and the vaccine to save lives. Guys, today you are in for a treat. We have our special guest, Q Raphael.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's been a journey.
Yes, it has been a journey. We just thought that we got over the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Here we are with Hurricane Ian, and then Miss Tropical Storm Nicole comes along. What's up with that?
Well, Miss Nicole came in as a hurricane, but when it came through our area, it came in as a tropical storm.
Right.
So it still affected a lot of people.
Yes, it did.
On the other coast. So yes, we had Ian that came and took us by storm. Back September 28th or
right,
something like that.
Right.
I had the date saved.
Yes. It's been a whirlwind. I know before we got started, we talked about, although we've been through a lot, it also creates opportunity. So it's all how you look at things. So let's start about with you introducing yourself, telling our audience who you are, what you do, and we'll get right into the crux of our conversation.
Yeah. So my name is Q Raphael. I am actually a real estate advisor here in the area, and I sell real estate community. I help those who are looking to buy, sell, or just simply invest into real estate. I also teach those wealth building classes and buyer educational classes. And I have a huge heart for people, for families. And so that's what, drove me into becoming a real estate economist of choice.
Ooh, I like that. I like that you not only sell real estate, I like that you call yourself a real estate advisor, which is huge.
Yes.
And I also like that you teach, because when you teach, you're not only just helping yourself, you're also helping others. You're educating others, even if they're not ready for home ownership, some of the things they need to start thinking about.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very important. Just like in school, I have a student at Estero High School, and I receive emails from, he's in JROTC because he wants to eventually go to the Navy, about they're going to talk about the upcoming Black Friday and financial literacy. And I thought that was very important because when I was going to school back in the 80s and 90s, our extracurricular activities were workshop, or working on cars, sewing and cooking class, in which we only really baked and we only made cookies and cakes and stuff. And we learned nothing about financial literacy, the importance of education, most importantly, real estate. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and I was just talking to someone about this the other day. My mother purchased her home for $30,000.
Wow. And
eventually moved in the early 2000s, and we went and visited. Last year, the home was valued at over $700,000. Imagine if she had kept that home, or imagine if she bought the block.
Yeah.
We talk about generational wealth.
Let's buy the block.
Yes.
That is definitely where I'm at right now.
Right.
With education, quantum leap is definitely real.
So if you could speak to, say, a young person in high school or college, or anyone just starting out, what are some of the things we need to start thinking about to set ourselves up to even be able to purchase a house, even though homes are really becoming out of reach right now with how expensive they are?
Well, it's really about where they want to get started. I'm going to tell a little story. I was introduced to a very young couple, first-time home buyers, and just speeding up, they were actually kind of lagging a little. They were actually with a lender that was not as educated. Now, you can be in the industry, however, not everyone is an expert.
Right.
So unfortunately, they were with someone that was not an expert in their field. And so rates at the time was right around 2.9.
Wow.
2.8%. When I was introduced to them early part of this year, we went back and forth with their lender that they had chose, and I said to them, I said, I would like for you to talk to a couple other lenders who are in that space of they're true professionals, because that's who I align myself with, is those who really know their craft. And so, long story short, spoke with a couple different lenders. They felt good moving forward with one particular one. Now, just to speed up time, when I was introduced to them, the rates now was at 3.5%.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
And so the debt to income ratio on top of the price of the home and then the interest rate is really going to determine where you're going to fall as far as your home buying experience, so what you qualify for. So at this time now, they are no longer qualified for what they thought they were going to go into.
Oh my gosh.
So that when the interest rates go up, then that will take more buying power away from you, unless you have a savvy real estate agent like myself that can be able to help negotiate maybe rates down. So anyhow, I said, they were really down. They felt really bad. And I said, no, let's look at other options. What are your thoughts on a multifamily dwelling? And with that said, they said, well, I don't know. I said, well, you're young. You have time. Let's build generational wealth.
Yes.
And we were able to actually get them into an FHA loan. They went from $210,000 of being qualified to $500,000.
Oh, wow.
With them being first-time home buyers, owning one unit and renting out the other. And here's the icing on the cake.
What?
It was new construction.
Oh my God.
Talking about brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath, both sides.
Oh
so
my
6
gosh.
4-bath.
Oh my God.
And they are young African American and Latino couple, and now they are happy to be very first-time homeowners and first-time investors.
Yes.
So
I love that. I love that.
The plan is in the next 2 years to look back at their financial situation and be able to purchase another one.
That is amazing. If they keep doing that,
yes.
Imagine the generational wealth they're creating. At some point, they could walk away from their jobs, because I know when I was growing up or in my career, all I knew is I needed to go get a college education and I needed to go get a good job. And I had a 401k, and I saved a lot of money in my 401k. And then once my life changed, I was married, I got divorced, and it kept me going throughout the years. And I thought about it, and I said, even if I kept saving, maybe I'll end up with, I don't know, maybe $700,000-800,000. But with inflation, that's nothing. But imagine if I put more of that effort towards real estate. Imagine that portfolio. So instead of trying to put money into my 401k, which I'm going to get taxed on when I take out the money, I need to invest in real estate, because my 401k, I'm investing in everybody else's company and making their money, and I'm not investing in myself. And I know why they don't teach it, because they need workers. Correct. Right? But imagine if I had thought about that 10, 20 years ago, and I had a portfolio of real estate, I'll just be collecting my rent.
Right. And their goal, as I showed them, as far as the numbers, if they continue this particular path, they can be able to purchase their single-family home with off the investment of those who are paying them to live in their on their property. So that's their goal. So
can I say something?
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank Thank you.
That is so amazing. That is the first time I've ever heard a real estate agent say that.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. I really like that. That is amazing.
And we're doing
That's
we're doing our community, our peoples a disfavor by not giving them all of the options,
Right.
And talking it out and strategically planning the future.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So before we started recording, we kind of talked about how you give back in the community. We talked about how Hurricane Ian was really devastating to you, how it made you feel. I know for me, we were blessed because we were not hit that hard. We just lost a few shingles on the roof and some lanai screen. And I live in a gated community, so I was like in this bubble. Mm-hmm. And everything was very minimal. And then when I drove out, because I also have a house in San Carlos.
Okay. There's
trees down everywhere. It was just devastation. I felt so depressed.
Yeah.
I didn't know I would feel that way. Mm-hmm. I felt so depressed. And for the past couple of weeks, I have been in the house. I stayed in the house because I wanted to stay in my bubble, because you see the devastation of other people, and I feel like I can't help, even though I went to a food bank and I helped pack food and I provided resources on my social media as to how people get help. I just felt so helpless, and it actually made me feel a little depressed. So with that said, you mentioned something that you were doing to give back and help others before you came here today. Can you please share that with us?
And I would love to. Thank you for that opportunity to share that story. Like yourself, I was very, very depressed when Hurricane Ian came, because I sell what Hurricane Ian took away.
Right.
It took away from so many families. And I might start crying here, but it affected me so much. I was depressed for about 30 days. And immediately after the storm happened, I immediately got on the road. I had customers, I had clients, I had houses I had to check to see. So I was out there as soon as the sun rose the next day. And talk about the devastation that was out there, and weaving around boats and trees that are on the roads and things of that nature, and still seeing water. So anyhow, I immediately, the next following day, went into our command center. Our Keller Williams have a nonprofit organization called KW Cares. Mm-hmm. And so we instantly went into action, started collecting food, generators, and spent about 3 days doing that, and taking care of our agents, and the immediate families that needed help. And then I went out and started delivering generators and care packages and things of that nature, getting it out to the community, getting it out to those who need it. I also helped out at the abused women's shelter. Many of the workers didn't have a lot of things, and they were without lights. So I was blessed to be able to help provide for them as well, and generators. And so many people cried and hugged me and cried. And it was a beautiful thing. But although I was broken, they were broken, we were broken.
Right.
I had to get myself together. It took about 30 days. And I said, okay, Q, yes, you sell community, you sell real estate, you sell what Ian took away. What is the silver lining?
Right.
There's a silver lining in everything
That's right.
in life.
That's right.
And so the silver lining for me was I had to say, okay, when there's destruction, there's also a bright ending. Something good is going to come out of it. And what is that good? And that is, although I was out there helping remove items out of people's houses that were flooded, and we cried together, the rebuilding is going to be beautiful.
Right.
So the silver lining is Southwest Florida is going to be rebuilt, and we're going to be rebuilt stronger and better. So our home values are going to increase.
Right.
And those were thinking that the hurricane was going to kind of put Southwest Florida underwater as far as value is concerned. Our values actually has not gone anywhere, even with the destruction.
Really?
So that is phenomenal.
Wow.
When you look back at all of the major hurricanes that happened, we did a just a quick value. With Hurricane Ian was the worst that Florida has ever had. Hurricane Andrew we thought was the worst, but when you compare the two as far as destruction, it's not. Ian destroyed and took away way more.
Right.
And the values, the property values after Hurricane Andrew, it skyrocketed. It went from a annual percentage of 3.8 to all the way to 32.
Wow.
So that's a significant jump in value. And so I feel confident that our area is definitely going to surpass that, and we're going to be rebuilt stronger and better. So everyone's going to want to come here to Southwest Florida.
Yes, yes.
Even if it's inland. So I predict
Right.
that Lehigh is really going to develop,
off?
and yes, it's really going to develop and get
Interesting.
stronger due to that. So a lot of great opportunities. So we always need to take, bad things are going to happen, but what is the silver lining behind that? And it's always something positive. So let's, it's okay to feel down.
Right.
I'm right there with you,
Right.
but we have to get over it and move on. So with that said, with the holidays, we are a month and a half in now from Ian, and so I said, you know what, I need to do some blessing baskets. So I invited a couple other agents to join me on my team to collect blessing baskets, and no one decided on what number. So I said, how about 100?
Oh, there you go. That's a good number.
Yeah, I think 100 was good. I said, okay, so our goal is 100. Let's see if we can collect 100 blessing baskets. And November 16th was just a couple of days ago. We did a basket drive at the Standards. Those who could make it was able to drop their baskets off before then. I had a lot of people that just simply donated and said, hey, Q, build my basket for me.
Right.
And so that's what we did. So yesterday, we partnered with the Lee County School District, and they had identified well over 100 families that needed food supplies, and in that basket was tons of different things, and each basket was different. So we were able to partner with them, and we had all our baskets all lined up. We were able to help 111 families.
Wow, that's amazing.
With baskets. And then this morning, I was able to drop off 7 at Oasis North in Cape Coral, because there were quite a few families that were identified that needed the baskets, that really needed it. And so tomorrow, I'm actually going to go out and drop off some more baskets. And I'm just going to knock randomly on those who are displaced that are in campers, because we know that they are really in need. They're only there because they lost everything. So we have some nice tall baskets filled with all kinds of different things and gift cards in there so they can go shopping to the grocery store. So we're going to do that tomorrow. It's been part of my Saturday doing that.
Wow, that's really amazing. I know we talked about this earlier before we started, is that you don't necessarily have to be a nonprofit to give back and make an impact in the community. So what you described, what you did, is basically you're a philanthropist.
Correct. Absolutely.
And how does that make you feel when you give back and you're making an impact in someone's life?
What Jesus says is more happiness in giving than there is in receiving.
It is.
And so yesterday, the tears, the joy from people saying, thank you, they needed it so much. It's heartwarming. And it gives you the motivation to continue to do more.
I've lived in Southwest Florida for the past 19 years. And I tell you, this area is very unique. It's very resilient. And the people, specifically, it blew my mind because I lived in Naples for 13 years, and before I moved to Fort Myers, there was not a whole lot going on, and Naples used to close down at 8 o'clock. But the older people who come here, the snowbirds we call them, they like to party. And the newscasters were doing a show, and it was It was on Fort Myers Beach, and they said, we have live music, we have a band, and they showed it was like 3 people. And then there was people on the other side just sort of dancing, but there was nothing there. Everything was destroyed. And I was like, that's one thing about Southwest Florida. People like to party, they like to have a good time, and they are very resilient. You'll get us down for a minute, but we're coming back, punching and strong. So that's one thing I like about this area, that although it's slow, you experience a really great quality of life, and it's what you make it.
It is.
It's really what you make it. And I love it. I really love the quality of life that we live here. It's beautiful, it's clean, and you could do well for yourself if you work hard. If you work hard, but you're strategic, and align yourself with the right people.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up, tell us how people can reach you.
Sure. Feel free. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on Instagram. I'm so open that, you can give me a call. You can text me. And that number is 239-600-0897. Once again, my name is Q Raphael, and I'm a real estate advisor with Keller Williams. And I would love to be able to help you, help your families. If you just want to maybe get educated, you want to become a real estate advisor as well, I can be able to help someone as far as that career path and investing.
And what platform do you use to teach your classes?
Actually, it's in person.
Okay.
Now with COVID, over, and everybody's feeling comfortable with getting together, we actually do it in person and also on Zoom. So if you're feeling under the weather, but you still want to get educated, then you can still be able to get a link and join us on Zoom.
Yeah, I would love to learn more and attend, whether it's Zoom or in person, one of your upcoming classes. I'd like to see a list of the subjects, because I'm always open to learning, and I'm a lifelong student.
Oh, yeah,
and I love to share my knowledge with others, and particularly the next generation, because I do worry about them with, if they decide to go to college, the student loan debt, and then the cost of living, and then also the cost of housing. Rent and mortgages is very expensive. So anytime that I could share some wisdom with them, I'd love to.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much again, Q, for joining us. You heard her information. Reach out to her. She's a wealth of knowledge. Whether it's starting learning, asking questions, I'm sure she'll be able to share with you any information you like. This is Tamika, and I'm signing out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.